Hey y'all, it's me, Dri. So last week I was on here and I was talking about the attachment that I was still realizing that was being stored in my body. It wasn't me being attached to a person, it was more of my body being attached to surviving those patterns. So what I want to talk about now is what happens after that attachment finally starts to leave your body. And I don't just mean mentally, I mean physically, because this last week, that is exactly what I've been going through. And I've been thinking about it, and the more I think about it, I feel like there's a lot of us that believe healing happens the moment we understand the pattern. Like, once we can explain it, or once we can logically see what happened within a dynamic, we think that once that happens, that means we're free. But what I'm realizing now, that understanding something and actually releasing it, those are two completely different things. Because for a long time, I was still tracking everything. Tracking patterns, tracking behaviors, tracking shifts. I was trying to understand every movement that was taking place around me. I was trying to understand every inconsistency and every emotional reaction. And what I'm realizing now is that the tracking itself, those behaviors I was doing, those things were the attachments. Not because I wanted the past back, and not because I wasn't moving forward, but because my nervous system had been trained to stay alert and to scan and to anticipate and also to prepare. And I'm getting that when your body has lived in survival for long enough to matter, then the hyper awareness that your body produces, that feeling, it starts to feel like normal, because really it's become your baseline. So that hyper awareness, it starts feeling like intuition, or it starts feeling like chemistry. Most importantly, that hyper awareness, that starts feeling like love. But sometimes, most times, it's actually the nervous system sounding an alarm. And I think that's what changed for me. I was finally allowing the patterns to run their full course without trying to control them. I saw them, but I wasn't trying to interfere. I wasn't trying to force clarity. And I stopped trying to chase the truth down. And once I stepped back and stopped doing all of those things, once I created enough space, everything around me that I was stuck on, it started revealing itself naturally. And what happened next honestly shocked me. Because what I've noticed this last week is that my reality has started correcting itself. Not through force and not through any of those manifestation tricks, but not through obsession either, actually. It started correcting itself through alignment. Because once I stopped resonating with the things that were unhealthy for me, once I stopped participating and let them run themselves, those things slowly stopped resonating with me too. And for the first time in a very long time, I have started meeting people, landing in situations, and coming into energy, and it all actually matches where I am now. There are not hidden agendas. There is no manipulation, no emotional ultimatums, and there is no chaos disguised as passion. Just alignment. And if I'm going to be completely honest, there was a long point in my life where I truly thought healthy people maybe didn't exist anymore. For a long time, I was questioning if I was the only person left on this earth with real morals and real convictions, real depth, and real intention. But what I've been shown just very recently is that I'm not the only one. Because I'm getting that once my system stopped accepting dysfunction as normal, my reality started introducing me to people who no longer operate from that place either. Because there's nothing within my body or myself that is going to hold them. And that brings me to something else I really feel like I need to talk about. And that is what healthy connection actually feels like in your body. Because I think a lot of us were taught that love, I think a lot of us were taught love, how to receive love and how to love completely backwards. Because that rush, that thrill, the overwhelming spark, that feeling of being swept away, that's what I used to think was love. I used to think this must be chemistry. This must be fate. And I would think that this must be what connection is supposed to feel like, because every time I felt connection, that's the way I felt. But looking back on it now, I don't think in any of those times I felt that chemistry that my body was telling me yes. Looking back, I think my body was screaming danger. And because I learned to love through survival, I'm getting that. I confused dysregulation with connection altogether. And I confused the anxiety I felt with attraction. I confused inconsistency as with the depth. And I confused adrenaline with chemistry. And I guess when you grow up learning love through this lens, through total instability, then your body starts associating these roller coaster emotions with intimacy. So then one day, when you actually finally meet something healthier, something reciprocal, and something emotionally safe, your first thought might actually be, but I don't feel the spark. But I want to challenge you there, because what if the spark was never the goal? Because looking at my life, I know that every spark I've ever chased, they all burned out fast. And every situation that swept me away emotionally, those all eventually collapsed under the weight of its own instability. Not one of the sparks I've felt in my life has built anything sustainable. Not a single one. And so what I'm realizing now is that real alignment, that feels totally and entirely different. The word that keeps standing out to me the most is safety. Yeah, safety, because you feel it in your body first. Your nervous system softens. Your mind quiets down. And you stop overperforming. You stop scanning constantly. And you stop trying to decode every interaction. And instead, what you feel, well, you feel calm. You feel present. You feel regulated. You feel safe enough to actually be yourself in the moment. And those feelings at first, they can almost feel unfamiliar, because if your body was trained through survival, then peace can initially come across and feel very boring, really. But I'm realizing that it isn't boring. It's what it is it's healthy. And I think that's the difference so many people are finally waking up to right now, because your body knows long before your mind creates any fantasy. And sometimes, well, the relationships that feel the most intoxicating, those are actually the ones activating the deepest survival patterns inside of you. Because real love, real alignment, real connection, those things don't need to throw your nervous system into chaos to prove that they exist. I'm thinking that my love deserves to be cared for, and my love deserves to feel safe, and that's making me realize now that there is nothing safe about a roller coaster ride. That feeling you get in line, that anticipation, and then even that rush you get right before the drop. All of those things, that's all your body communicating something to you there too. And so maybe, for the very first time, maybe, I'm finally learning how to listen to my body correctly. it's like a whole nother operating system, really, to change the lens and to not approach things with exhilaration, but to approach them with neutrality and resignation. Like, it makes me excited for the depth that I really might be able to find in others. So, if what I'm saying is resonating, and if you're realizing your body has been trying to tell you the truth long before your mind was ever able to catch up, then please like my message, leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel, and share this with someone who's waking up to this too, because I really believe a lot of people are starting to realize that they were never chasing love. They were chasing familiarity, and there's a big difference there, because a lot of the things that we've grown to become familiar to, they aren't healthy at all. And once you have the ability to recognize that, well, that's when your reality changes altogether. And that's what I got for y'all today. So remember, where there is love, there is light. I'll see you guys again real soon.